Hello, how are you doing? Just still getting myself sorted here. I've got a couple of hours to kill, so I thought I would put my mic on properly. I thought we'd take a look at South Norfolk Council because we've got the the unitary and the devolution and all that stuff happening, and basically what I thought is probably for some that it would be really boring, but for me it's kind of not. So we're going to take a look. This meeting was held on the 18th of May. I think I have some pigeons on the roof. I think it's pigeons. That's all right, Elsbells. Just pigeons. Just pigeons. Right, getting back to it. So yeah, the South Norfolk Council, to all members of South Norfolk Council. Let's have a little look. So yeah, it was done for Monday. It was done for, yeah, you tell them. Go on, frighten them off. They shouldn't be dancing on the roof, should they? Made too much noise, didn't they? Yeah, Ellie told them. Anyway, getting back to it. So Monday the 18th of May, 7 p.m. Is when this meeting took place. Peachman Way, Norwich, NR7, the Horizon Centre. I didn't know that. So this is the agenda that we have. So we've got apologies for absence. God, they're out in force tonight, these pigeons. So we've got declaration of interest, chair's announcement, the outgoing chair, appointment of chair, appointment of vice chair. Tell them, Ellie. Go tell them. What is it with them? They're gone. They're gone, Ellie. Well done, big girl. Sorry. Getting back to it. So yeah, we've got the appointment of chair, appointment of vice chair, the election leader of council. Oh, thanks to the retiring chair, which is lovely, but be the third one, this week. Chair's announcement, minutes, petitions, notice of motions monitoring office report. So they obviously don't have a town clerk, or clerk, doesn't necessarily have to be town, does it? Appointment of outside bodies, annual review of scrutiny committee. Oh, just a few things. Dickleborough and Russell neighbourhood plan. Looks like they've got some building work going on there. Recommendations from the cabinet. Antisocial behaviour. Design code for South Norfolk and Borderland District Councils. Notice to commence plan making. Adoption of street naming. God, they've got quite a few to be cracking on with their AGM. Bloody hell. Okay. So we've got the paperwork that we need to be able to follow along when they're talking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste this into the chat, if it lets me. Right, I don't know if I've got it all. Copy. Right, let's see if this works. Let's see if it's all there. What do you reckon? Right. Okay, the link that I have put in chat is what we are looking at. So it's the actual agenda pack from 2 weeks ago, 18th of May. So right, we're ready there. The other thing is the South Norfolk councillors. I was trying to find out who was in it, like, you know, Liberal Democrats, Conservative, Independent Vice Chair. This might have been updated since then, so this might be who has been voted in for the leader and everything else, so that's not going to be any surprise. Chair of the council is possibly Conservative. There's a lot of Conservatives there. Leader of council, Daniel Elmer, Cringleford. I've seen him in the other Norfolk County Council, so we are on the right one, aren't we? South Norfolk Councillors. So these should be the ones that we will see in the meeting. Good news is I can't see One Reform or British First, so good on you, South Norfolk. So right, we should be able to figure this out as we go along. Right, so we've got our agenda pack. We know who everybody is. Sounds all right. I'm guessing the sound all right because nobody in chat has said otherwise. So I think we are good to go. And I've just realised you have not been seeing what I've been doing on the old... that's a bugger. Right, if I take that one off, forget me. Right, what I was looking at is the... Let me see if I can find the share. It's the councillors. This was the page I was looking at just now. All their faces and their names. Oh, there's K. Mason Billing. Can't pronounce her name. Sorry. The bloody pigeons tonight. They're back. Right, so we've got that page sorted. So we are now going to go for this. Yeah, you tell them. Right, are we ready? Let's press play and see how this goes.
Let's go. Good evening, members of the public. Item number 1, apologies for absence.
Oh, they're going straight into it.
Thank you, Chair. I've received apologies from Councillors Race, Rosen, McCloskey and Carver.
Straight in.
Any others? Full house apart from that. Item number 2 is declarations of interest. Does anybody have any interests to declare on the agenda, please? Nope. Excellent. Moving on. The next item is a sad one. The former councillor, Dr. Nigel Legg, passed away since our last meeting. I think Councillor Bills is going to say a few words, please.
Working. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Yes, Councillor Legg joined the council in 2007 when I was also a newbie, and I think he can finish off about 2023, which is a fairly long time, but I'm still here. You poor devils. But anyhow, there you go. Yeah, we had quite an interesting relationship over those years. He was involved for a while in discussions with the various interested parties as to getting a new surgery in Heatherset, which ruffled a few feathers from my memory. But the one thing that does stick out in my mind particularly is we did have a common interest in cricket, and we did a lot of work improving facilities around South Norfolk for cricket, one of which was Swainsthorpe. And I hope I'm right in this because we spent quite a bit of time at Swainsthorpe. And I don't know if any of you have been to the pitch there, but I do remember one guy on a visiting team gave an almighty swipe, went for six, and I'm sure it hit his windscreen, and whether it broke his windscreen or not, I don't know, but I know he was not a happy chappy. So, dear old boy, he was, not everybody got on 100% with him, let's be frank, but he had some good ideas, and he was not short in bringing those ideas forward. But no, we had a good time. He was all right, so good on him.
Thank you very much
Cheers.
indeed. Did anybody else want to say anything?
Is that the best you can say?
I first met Nigel on the election day in 2023, and I was talking to a senior citizen of Mountbarton at the time as he slowly approached the polling station. And to my enormous embarrassment, the senior citizen shouted out something along the lines of, "You're too old, Nigel. I'm not voting for you, I'm voting for Jim," which was a great embarrassment to me. And I probably thought that was the first and only time I'd meet Nigel Legg in my life. But I was completely wrong. He seemed to turn up at every parish council meeting that I attended from that day onwards until he died. He was chair of East Carlton and Ketteringham Parish Council at his date of death. He was a member of Swardston, not Swainsthorpe, great cricket team in Swardston, Swardston Parish Council, and also Bracken-Ash Parish Council until he died. And he was a frequent attender at Mountbarton Parish Council. I was telling people at Bracken-Ash that he sent me an email about local business on the Friday before he died on the Sunday. I was bettered, of course. Others had received emails from him on the Saturday. I think his commitment to local service puts most of us to shame. So, different parties, different views, but a fond farewell to Nigel Legg.
Thank you very much indeed. Yes.
I hope you'll permit me to stand while I say this. Nigel was
Thing is, with you standing, what would you?
he was kind of fabulous in his own way. He had a lovely wry wit, and his contribution to politics was much more measured than people thought. He always gave fair space for people to allow themselves that privilege of being honest with him, and he would be honest with them. That's rare in politics. My feeling is that, and I stood against Nigel when I won my seat back on the council. The thing I liked about Nigel, he was magnanimous in defeat. We never had a flaw in our relationship. He laughed at my jokes. I laughed at him. When I finally got to meet his wife at the funeral, which I know it's an awful thing to say, but I did enjoy, because it was a send-off for a remarkable man in his own right, had a really productive, useful life. He gave, and he gave, and he gave. There was very little taking in Nigel's life, in my opinion. And whether or not we were true friends, I know that might be pushing the boat out a little bit, but we liked each other, and that was very, very important to me. When he was at Ketteringham and his Carlton Council delivering the goods as chairman, he did it in such a relaxed way that you felt very free to be open and honest with what you were delivering. I think he was a fine man, and he'll be missed, but not because he's absent, but he'll be missed purely and simply because in the past he played an important role in so many things, and it's all those other things that will miss him as much as us. And if there is a memory I will carry of Nigel, was how he fought his way into the parish room when he could barely stand to do his job. I'd say that he was a real true
It's
and one to be proud of.
disappointing camera work again.
We go stand for a minute silent, please.
Because you can't see who's talking. Okay. That was obviously the minute's silence for Councillor Nigel
The next
Legg.
item is chair's announcements, and my engagements are listed on page 8 of the agenda. A few of them are missing. I've been on a couple of business visits last week. One was to Booja Booja Chocolate Factory, which was an excellent visit. I can recommend it. I can recommend their products. They are delicious, even despite being free from gluten and lactose. And it's a long-established company in South Norfolk, which I think we should be proud of. Been around for at least 25 years. And I went to a mushroom farm, Waveney Valley Mushroom Farm and
Oh, yeah.
Company, which was also absolutely fascinating to see all the mushrooms growing. They import the compost from Belgium, and they grow in 6 weeks, and then they move on. So there are lots of other businesses in South Norfolk I think we'd be proud of, but those are just a couple that I went to last week. To add to my list, and I've been reflecting on my year as chair. It's been a very peculiar role, I suggest. We bump into each other, the 8 chairs, the Norfolk and the other districts, several times a year and go to each other's parties. And several of us have questioned really what it's all about. I think all of us decided that the Sheriff of Norwich, who's not a council chair, but the Sheriff of Norwich, gave a very good reception in the Marble Hall of Elviva, and showcased some very good voluntary sector charities, and then gave a shed load of money from Elviva, which I think was really the point of it all. And I think with
That is
Mike,
as far as I can put it.
one of the biggest companies, certainly in the city, that really does have a point to it. I think reducing the number of chairs in Norfolk is perhaps one of the advantages of LGR, as well as reducing the overall number of councillors. So, as I say, many of the chairs around Norfolk do have reservations about the whole role. And I've certainly been to more black tie and posh dinners than I've been to, and been to church a lot this year. But there have been some events where I think my presence, or presence of the council chair, was definitely worth doing, and that's when some gravitas is added to the event, like prize giving at the Rotary Club at the hospital was one thing, and the Scouts AGM, I think they were pleased to have some gold bling along to add to the weight of the event. So I wish Catherine well for the next year. I would like to say thank you very much to all the staff that have helped, and certainly all the staff of the council in their future roles and changing environments. So yeah, thank you very much indeed. The next item is the appointment of the chairman for next year. Are there any nominations for chair of the council next year? Yeah, Richard.
Thank you, Chair. It gives me great pleasure to propose Catherine Cross as Chair of South Norfolk Council for the coming year. I think anyone who knows Catherine will know that she's already shown as Vice Chair her commitment to this council and to the residents we serve. She's a fantastic ambassador, always representing South Norfolk with respect, professionalism and pride. What truly sets Catherine apart, though, I think, is her fairness and integrity. She approaches issues with balance. She brings the kind of sound judgment that this role demands. And I think those qualities make her an absolute ideal candidate for leading this council in a way that will command confidence across the whole chamber. Of course, she's also a genuine community champion. She always celebrates and supports the people and organisations of South Norfolk, well, the people and organisations that make this place so strong and such a vibrant place to live. So I've no doubt she will council.
Is there a seconder for that nomination? Councillor Blundell. Yeah. Are there any other nominations for the post of chair for next year? Looks like you've got it NEMCOM. Congratulations.
Did they not vote? There was not another. Yeah.
Hand over the chair.
Did I miss the vote? So where's she gone? Okay, so we have Councillor Catherine Cross, who is chair of the council. She's Conservative and her ward is Heatherset. So no change in seats, and off.
Thank you, Deborah. I, Catherine Cross, having been elected to the office of Chair of South Norfolk Council for 2026-27, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
You can really
I undertake to observe
tell the
code
difference
as
between this
conduct
and
which
Norwich
is expected of members of
ceremony.
South Norfolk Council. That goes to you.
Thank you.
Just crack on and get on with it.
Hello, everybody. Right, item number 5, moving swiftly on, appointment of Vice Chairman of the Council for 2026-27. Can I have nominations, please?
It's Vice Chair, don't you say man at the end of it?
James Easter.
We've got it. I'd like to nominate Sharon Blundell. I've worked with her in the past. I know that she can do the job with her eyes closed, and I think she'll be an absolute excellent choice. So I commend her to you.
Thank you. Any one to second that? And that's Vic Thompson. Thank you. Any other proposals?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're going to say something, Vic?
If I may, I don't know where to start with Sharon about her experience and all the jobs that she's done. But the one thing that stands out is caring and kindness and work in county particularly.
Are we still talking about
I noticed that.
Sharon Blundell?
Sharon. And the other thing is, with her experience, I can't think of a better person to help you, Chair, in negotiating the ways forward in this interesting job.
Must be.
So I recommend wholeheartedly Sharon to be your deputy.
Thank you. Any other nominations, Councillor?
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to nominate Councillor Bob McClenning.
we have a seconder for that nomination? Councillor Spratt. So, would you like to say any words about Bob?
I would just say that Bob has been a councillor on this authority for many, many years in different periods of time, and he has previously served.
I'm wondering if they're
so he knows the job well.
talking about Robert
He's
Savage, because that's the
friendly
only.
with everybody cross-party within this council, and I believe he would make an
Oh
excellent
no, hang on.
chair of this authority.
Bob McClenning,
Chair, future chair.
Liberal Democrat. Or Barton and Stoke Holy Cross.
Okay, so this is quite interesting. So we will have a vote. We'll just do a show of hands for each member.
Why is it interesting? That's what normally happens.
Okay. Thank you, Sinead. Just remind me, you can only vote once. So just, it'll be very confusing if you vote for both. So can I have a show of hands for Sharon, please? And hold them up nice and high because, oh, and I can vote as well.
Sharon is Old Cossey,
24, Chair.
South Norfolk Independent.
You, and a show of hands for Bob McClenning.
Is Mel Barton and Stoke Holy Cross, Liberal Democrat.
18, Chair. Thank you. So the vote is in favour of Sharon. So congratulations, Sharon. You are now the Vice Chair for this year.
Just to recap, guys, this is the South Norfolk Council meeting, AGM, that happened on the 18th of May. So we are literally just
Oh gosh, you.
I, Sharon Blundell, having been elected to the office of Vice Chair of South Norfolk Council for 26-27, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment.
it really would be good to have a camera at the front and a camera behind so you can see the councillors behind so you know who's talking.
Did you want to say anything, Sharon?
No, thank you.
Okay, so now we are on to item 6, election of the leader of the council for 2026-27. Could I have nominations for the position of leader of the council, please? Jonathan Pearl.
Thank you, Chairman. I would like to nominate Councillor Daniel Elmer.
Oh.
And
So Daniel Elmer is Cringleford Conservative.
Are there any other nominations? No. So I declare Daniel Elmer elected as leader of the council. So would you like to confirm your deputy leader, portfolio and cabinet members?
Thank you very much. My deputy leader for the year will be Councillor Kim Carsock. Other than that, all of my cabinet portfolios and cabinet members are remaining unchanged.
Okay, thank you. So as leaders of the main other opposition groups,
unchanged.
We've got Councillor Brown. We don't have Councillor Rosen here today, but I think Councillor Sachs is doing that. So in alphabetical order, would Councillor Brown like to go first? Oh, sorry, if you want to add anything to the election of Councillor Elmer and to announce any shadow portfolio holders.
Oh, it's raining.
It's a task that I know Daniel has thrown himself into despite lots of other commitments, and he has devoted a lot of time to the role, and it's not an easy one. So I welcome his continuation as leader. In terms
Sounds
of
awful.
the Liberal Democrat group, our portfolios remain
Especially when you've got rain on the
as
roof.
previously, and my deputy group leader is Terry Laidlaw.
Are we on item 7?
Thank you, Councillor Sachs, for the Labour.
Thank you, Chair. Just to confirm that I will be the group leader for the Labour group in the coming year, and Councillor Rosen will be the deputy group leader, and our portfolio holders otherwise remain the same.
Excellent, thank you very much. Could I now invite Councillor Elmer to propose a vote of thanks for the retiring chair?
Absolutely, and thank you to the council for your continuing support as well. I should have said that just then. So I think it's fair to say that when Deborah got elected to Cringleford Ward in 2023, probably we would not have been considered to be the bosom natural political partners of South Norfolk. But nevertheless, I would like to thank you, Deborah, for your service as chair over the last year. I know the role brings with it a significant commitment of time and energy, and you represented South Norfolk through a range of engagements over the course of your year. I am sorry that the bling is not more, but I have a grand deal of faith that if we'd had too much gold, you would have insisted we used it for something more useful, had we so. In particular, we'd like to recognise the focus you've brought to your theme of value in nature. You've been a strong advocate for your chosen charity, the Ted Ellis Trust at Wheatford Nature Reserve, and you've helped to raise awareness of the importance of protecting and preserving our natural environment. I will go a little bit further as well and add a personal touch, which is to say it's hard work being a councillor, it's hard work being chair, and over the last 2 months, me and Councillor Sachs have possibly seen each other more than we cared to, but that is because the amount of times I've walked into Deborah trotting round the streets, knocking on residents' doors, is a level of commitment that is very hard to replicate. It's bloody hard work. It's a work ethic that's very hard to replace, and for those of us in political parties, it's the kind of work ethic that sustains political parties during their bad years, and we've all had them, and I'm sure we'll have more to come. It shows a true determination for what you believe in, and I know you've brought that to this role, and I'm sure you'll continue to bring it to other roles in the future. So with that, I thank you for your year of service. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Councillor Brown.
Yes, I'd just like to echo, in all sense, echo Daniel's comments about Deborah in her role as chair. I mean, ever since Deborah joined this council, we've always had some interesting discussions and got on incredibly well on whichever roles we've been taking. And I know that
Councillor Brown from Ditchingham and Ersham, Liberal Democrat.
And I just the one bit that stood out to me was her civic reception at the John Innes Centre, and I actually learned quite a few things about the John Innes Centre, including the fact that the word genetics originates from South Norfolk. The original director of the John Innes Centre was writing to a colleague in Cambridge in 1905 and decided they needed a word for this new science and called it genetics. So I learned that genetics originates from here. So that was marvellous. Thank you very much for that, Deborah. Thank you for all the work you did.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. I'm very sorry I missed your civic reception, but my dog decided to poison herself on that day, so I was otherwise engaged. with her. But I believe, Councillor Elmer, you've got a gift somewhere? There we go.
This is where we do. I think it's actually meant to be Catherine that hands it over, not me.
Ah. Oh, yes, it is.
But I'm very happy to do it.
It is.
Okay, this is Deborah Sachs, Cringleford Ward, Labour and Cooperative Party. Who's just getting a gift for being the outgoing chair.
Thank you. So, Chairman's announcements. So that's me. So again, I'd like to thank Councillor Sachs for handing over the baton and congratulate her on her year as chair. And I'm looking forward to my year ahead very much indeed. I would like to add that many of us spent the last year as opponents in the county council elections, but when we come back to serve our South Norfolk residents, we work as a team and it's for their benefit, not ours. And I do feel at its heart, this council is very collaborative and not all can say that around Norfolk. So I would like this to continue this year. And I know we won't always agree on everything.
They're the only council that ain't got reform in it.
Committees, I would like us to respect each other's opinions, be able to express our
How
views freely,
cool is
with
that?
civility, always with our community's interests at heart. And with that in mind, it's a community that I want to focus on this year. So the theme I have chosen is volunteering. It's the year of the volunteer. And we all volunteer in many ways. A lot of the time we don't even put a label on it because it may be just something we want to do for the benefit of people we're connected to. So it's baking cakes for a school event, coaching our kids' sports teams, or helping to run a village fete. But there are many volunteers who give up their time completely selflessly and for no personal gain other than to make complete strangers' lives better. So this is where you come in, and I'm fully aware of the time you put into your communities. So in order to shine a light on all those volunteer groups in our wards, I want each councillor to come to me with at least one group in their ward that could really benefit from a bit of publicity in what they do. Maybe they're struggling to get enough volunteers to keep running their services. Maybe they need more help to reach those they really want to support. And maybe one extra pair of hands would help fill their schedule to make that difference. So I want you each to give me at least one group that I can visit during the year to find out more about them and help them get noticed. And that will be how my year as chair will be measured. Not by the number of chain gang events I attend, but in bringing communities in action to a wider audience. The fundraising charity that I'll be donating to will be Wyndham Heritage Museum. I'm now in my 4th year as a tea room volunteer there. There are over 100 volunteers in total at the museum, either in the tea room or serving as stewards for visitors. And without them, the service just doesn't function. So every penny raised from admissions or every piece of cake goes back into updating the exhibits, supporting educational visits, putting on events and keeping top of the maintenance. So this week we'll be sending you all an email outlining what the plan is and asking for you to respond, please. For some suggestions of places that I can visit. And,
She wants 5 places.
About the volunteering across South Norfolk. So finally, I just wanted to add, I don't mind if you call me chair, chairman, chairperson, chairwoman, whatever. I'm not offended by any of those. But obviously, I will expect you to doff your cap, bow, curtsy, spread out your cloak on top of a paddle for me, but that goes without saying. I know you'd all do that anyway. So anyway, without further ado, we'll go on to the next item. And that's the minutes of the council meetings held 18th of February, page 9. And I'm sure you've all read them. and digested them. And are you happy to approve them as a true and accurate record? Can we have a show of hands, please? That's great. So there's no petitions, no notice of motions, and so we'll move on to item 12, the monitoring officer report on page 29, and appendix 2, which you received on Friday. I believe Councillor Elmer will present the report.
Thank you very much, Chair, and congratulations on your election. The report largely is as it stands. I will just make a few points due to either error, be they officers or my own. And where it be my own, it was noted that I forgot to appoint in my haste last week vice chairs to the Health and Leisure and Communities Committee. So I'd just like to highlight those are James Easter and Catherine Cross respectively. And also to note that there were errors in the report from 2 prior appointments. One, the Environment Committee, which should now be updated to reflect that Trevor Graham is the chairman, David Bills is the vice chairman, with Catherine Cross and John Overton as the Conservative representatives, and to reflect that Councillor Chris Brown is the vice chair of the Shareholders Board. Also to note that we received confirmation today from Norfolk County Council on the political balance of the Police and Crime Panel. The Police and Crime Panel appointments for South Norfolk remain a Conservative one, and as such will remain James Easter with Kieran Murphy as a substitute. That's everything from me, Chair.
Thank you. Any other members wish to speak on this item? Councillor.
I will just thank the officers for all the hard work on this one. There's obviously been a number of changes that have been necessary, and there's a lot of detail in there, and I know they've had to spend a lot of time chasing members for responses on this, so thank you very much for the officers for so diligently putting this together. No further changes from our perspective.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councillor Sachs.
I'm just looking at the maths, and I'm looking at the rounded percentages. They seem to be a bit incorrect. So 50% of 46 is 23. So why have the Conservatives got 53% of the votes? 9 out of 46 is 19.6%, not 21. And 2 out of 46 is 2% rather than. I've only just looked at this, but I don't understand the maths at all. 2 divided by 46 is.
I think we can clarify that for you.
I was about to defer to the monitoring officer who does the calculations, not me.
So the total councillors that is worked out on is not 46 because the independents and greens are not included in that calculation.
I'm not sure what page that is on. It's anywhere between page 29
yes.
and 45.
So you don't need to clarify anything else on that, no. Anyone else with any comments on that? No. So the recommendations are on page 34 and 35. There's a few here. There's 5 recommendations, which I probably don't need to read them all out, but
41 and 45.
Vote on those 5 recommendations, please. All those in favour?
Hang on, I'm not even there yet. God.
Anyone against? And any abstentions? No, that's unanimous then. Thank you. So, appointment to outside bodies. There's a report at page 46 and an appendix which was also circulated on Friday. And it's back to Councillor Elmer for this one again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, I don't intend to read the report out. It stands by itself. Just to say thank you to everyone for their ongoing work and for the work still to come. The most significant change is the change in terms of reference of the Waveney, Lower Yarra and Low England Internal Drainage Board, where we've gone from 6 appointments down to 3. So thank you in particular to those members who have served on it. And I will say, without any disrespect to the Internal Drainage Board, I was not actually expecting there to be a clamour of people wanting to stay on it. So the number of people who asked me about it genuinely caught me a little bit off guard. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councillor Brown.
Daniel clearly doesn't know about the Kit Kats that they serve at all their meetings.
That's very important information. Thank you very much. We'll bear that in mind for next time. So the recommendations, if there's nobody else wanting to speak on this, are at page 48, and that the council makes appointments to those organisations. And could we have a vote on this, please? All those in favour? It looks unanimous again. Anyone against? Any abstentions? That's unanimous. So item 14, annual review of the scrutiny committee. I'll hand over to Councillor Rowe.
I'd just like to thank everyone for their support for our work. I think we've built a good, solid committee that's respected by colleagues. I hope for its effectiveness and for its integrity too. Really appreciate the officer's support in helping us put that together, and the members of that committee as well. I've got some thoughts and plans about widening and deepening the scope of our work next year, actually, which I'll share with the committee members.
Jeremy Rowe, Loddon and Chedgrave.
So far, so good. I think we've built something
Labour.
proud of, which absolutely does the job. So thank you. But I'm really proud to be carrying on chairing it. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak about the scrutiny committee or questions? No. Okay, so we are just moving to endorse the annual report. All those in favour? Thank you. Anyone against? Any abstentions? No, that's unanimous. So item 15, adoption of the Dickleborough and Rushall Neighbourhood Plan. There's a report at page 65, and Councillor Lisa, over to Neil to present this one, please.
Thank you, Chair. This report seeks Council's approval for the formal adoption of the Dickleborough and Rushall Neighbourhood Plan following a successful local referendum which was held on the 19th of March this
Sure,
year.
if it's Lisa, over to Neil.
Plans are an important part of the
Speaking
statutory
from
development framework.
calling on
They're enabling
and
local
Framingham
communities to shape the
and
future
Traus.
growth and development of the
Conservative.
areas they live in. The Dickleborough and Rushall Neighbourhood Plan has been prepared by the Parish Council and local residents over a number of years, beginning back in 2017, I believe. It sets out a clear vision, objectives and planning policies.
Page 65 onwards.
To guide development in the parish, and it goes right up to 2042. The plan has been subject to extensive consultation, independent examination and a local referendum where it's received strong support, with 87% of those voting in favour. In accordance with the Neighbourhood Planning Act and following this positive referendum result, the plan now forms part of South Norfolk Council's development plan. And the final step is just for the council to formally adopt the plan, ensuring it carries full weight in the determination of planning applications within the Dickleborough and Rushall neighbourhood area. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Okay, just hold on just 1 second. Because they definitely know what they are talking about. If we just go on to the agenda pack, which is what I'm now about doing. So they have pretty much said that a lot has been in agreement. What was it? Page 65, wasn't it? Okay, let's just find this and just 62, 63. So the neighbourhood plan. Let's just have a quick look. So there was a successful outcome of the referendum held on the 19th of March. Steering group, parish, plan to seek future development of the parish up till 2042. So that's nothing. I mean, North Walsham West, I think that's got quite a few years on that to be built. So that's nothing new. I'm just trying to find out what they've got in mind. So 87% voted. And then go ahead with it. Oh, look, there's a Dickleborough and Russell Neighbourhood Plan webpage. That will probably say quite a lot in more detail than this. Community infrastructure levies, quality implication, environmental impact. There's no significant risk. Oh look, no significant risk associated with crime and disorder. Looks like it's quite a nice place to live then, really, isn't it? So that doesn't actually. Oh wow, look at that, love. 198 people voted yes, and 30 voted no. How many was that out of? Was it out of, say, I don't know, 100 and what? What is that, 128? Or is it like 500 or something? How many people didn't vote? So the total number of votes cast was 228, and the total electorates was 1,201. There's only 18.98% of the registered electors. More than half of those voters have voted in favour. Have they, though? Or is it just the fact that the other 990 odd something haven't voted? But then that's what happens, really, isn't it? That is dreadful. Only 18% went out and voted on the impact of where they live for basically new builds. Let's just find out where. Let's just get that link up. I'll put that in the comment section as well. So then it's always there to click on and look back to. Okay. Page not found. Let's just go back one and let's just double check. Oh, bloody hell, it's took me right back to page one. So, Wowzers. Okay, I just had to do that for my own peace of mind. Okay, so getting back to it, let's press play and carry on.
Any other members wishing to speak? Councillor Thompson?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I'd just like to echo Councillor Overton-Neal's comments there and formally thank and send a note of thanks to all the volunteers of the neighbourhood plan team, whose Councillor Overton-Neal has worked on this plan for 9 years. I'd like to thank all members of that neighbourhood plan team, past and present, the Parish Council, and indeed our own officers who have worked extensively on several revisions of this plan. And as Lisa's said, this received 86% approval at the referendum in March, and I commend it to members for formal adoption.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, Councillor Hudson.
Thank you, Chair. Basically, the Dickleborough and Rushall Parish neighbourhood plan actually started 2 years before I became the councillor for the area when the boundaries changed. I think that basically, as my fellow councillor said, basically we've got to give a big round of applause to the volunteers that basically over that 9 years have basically developed that neighbourhood plan and got it to the stage where it basically went to a referendum and was supported by basically the public. That's really, really good. I want to particularly basically single out the chair of the parish council, particularly Andrew Goodman, because without his leadership and basically working on that plan would have never got to the point it got to and having a referendum. Dickleborough and Rushall is a vibrant basically parish with a strong community value. And the only one disappointment I have is that this might be one of the last neighbourhood plans that we see come before this council, because regrettably this terrible government that we have has withdrawn the locality funding which allows parishes and communities to develop these neighbourhood plans, which many have been adopted at this
They've withdrawn it.
So yeah, again, I want to thank officers that have basically worked over the last 9 years helping the parish develop and the group develop this. So thanks.
Thank you very much. Nothing else to add, Councillor Overton-Neal? No. So the recommendations are at page 69, which is to adopt the Dickleborough and Rushall Neighbourhood Plan. Can I have all those in favour, please? Anybody against? Any abstentions?
Carried.
No, that's unanimous. So item 16, the updated anti-fraud and anti-corruption strategy, which is recommendation from FRAG. I understand Councillor Elliott, you're presenting, or Chairman?
Thank you, Chair. Well, I think either myself or the Chair of FRAG, but basically the report is self-explanatory. It's updated anti-fraud and anti-corruption strategy, taking account of new legislation. It strengthened the strategy. It had a good thorough looking through at the FRAG committee, and it's recommended for council to approve.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak on this one? No.
And that's page 75 to 85.
If you look at the recommendations at page 76, is to adopt the updated anti-fraud and anti-corruption strategy. All those in favour?
Okay, hang on. We are just going to take a look. Hang on a sec. Let me just find out where the page has gone. I've only got 4 pages up. Right. Agenda pack. Here we go. Right, page 79 is what she said, wasn't it? What page are we on? God, you see, there is so much that, oh God, we're on 300. Okay. Bear with me. So this is, well, that's not page 79, is it? Okay, so from 75 onwards. So anti-fraud and anti-corruption. Wow. So the council approach to minimise the risk of fraud and corruption occurring, detecting its possible occurrence. Wow. This strategy was last approved by council on the 16th of October 2023. Since then, it's created a new offence of failure to prevent fraud, which applies to offences from the 1st of September 2025. No direct information. Oh, sorry, I just need to go back. Anti-fraud, anti-corruption strategy. Oh, it's gone too quick. So, I wonder if Norfolk County Council has got this involved, because I think with having reform sitting at the table, just saying. Okay, that's just way too much to... Okay, in the meantime, let's crack on.
Anyone against? Any abstentions? It's unanimous, thank you.
Carried.
So item 17 are the recommendations from the Cabinet meetings held on the 20th of April. And those are found on page 86. And the first one of those is the antisocial behaviour prevention and response policy. And that is Councillor Hooton to present, please.
Thank you, Chair. Congratulations on your appointment. This council already had a prevention and response policy to antisocial behaviour, and this paper merely updates this. It's brought it up to date for the next period between 2026 and 2029, and as you will have seen from Appendix 2, the main changes are listed there. Most of them are fairly minor in and of themselves, but it does make quite a significant change to the policy and certainly brings it far more up to date. I don't wish to say any more, but the recommendations are for Council to note the contents of this report and provide any comments to officers. And I would recommend that the Council adopt this updated antisocial behaviour prevention and response policy for the years 2026 to 2029. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Does anybody else want to speak on this item? No? We will move directly to a vote. So the recommendation is to adopt the updated antisocial behaviour prevention and response policy. All those in favour?
So it's going to be carried, isn't it?
Against? Any abstentions? No, that's unanimous. Thank you. The next item is the supplementary planning document. This is the rather large item in the agenda, which I'm sure you've all read. The design code for South Norfolk and Broadland District Councils, page 129.
Which is 17B.
The Cabinet report. Councillor, over to Neil, please.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, it is rather a large document, but I believe it's a worthy document for the council to have. I can actually remember
There's over 400 pages to that.
Code was being developed. I'm sure there's a few of you here that also do that. There was a councillor Derek Blake, who spent a lot of time drawing this up, and it was adopted back in 2011. And we were one of the first councils to have such a thing. Obviously, the district has changed massively since 2011, and it felt that it was time to have a look at the design code again. So this code is about helping us achieve better designed homes and neighbourhoods, looking at local character and things that work well for the people who live in them. So, as you say, it is an extensive document. There's appendices as well, which will support the design code, and it will become a material consideration in planning decisions and a helpful tool for trying to improve the quality of development.
All of this, remember.
So the
It's
recommendation
in the
of the chair
agenda
is
pack.
for
The
council to
link
adopt
is
design
in
code for South
live
Norfolk
chat.
and Broadland district councils and its supporting documents, and to also agree delegations for any minor final amendments.
Thank you. Does anybody wish to speak on this item? Councillor McLennan.
Thank you, Chair. Ghosts. I'm glad you mentioned Councillor Blake, who was a magnificent warrior for the good and the beautiful. And I think it's nice to hear him mentioned again. He's been dead a few years now, but I think his contribution to this council could never be overestimated. He was a fine member, and although he died tragically, I think that he was a significant player in the development of South Norfolk, and it's really good. And I thank you for mentioning him.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Yes, Councillor Webber.
I'd like to echo Councillor Overton Neal's warm welcome for this document. I think it is very important. Design of buildings and communities fundamentally affects the quality of people's lives, so we should welcome it. I particularly welcome the strengthenings of this report relative to previous drafts, which I think will give more power to
Councillor Webber.
And I
Melbarton,
remember
Stoke Holy
several
Cross.
of us took in a charabang around some of the new
Liberal
developments
Democrat.
in South Norfolk, and I particularly remember Councillor Bennett pointing out in one large estate in Wyndham the improvements achieved in phase 2 over phase 1 through more arm wrestling with the developer, trying to get enhancements to design, and I could see the benefit of most of those. I'm going to bring a local point in, particularly for the ward of Melbarton and Stoke Holy Cross. Others may think it's relevant to them as well. I've had not that many, but too many complaints from residents with planning applications who are being challenged about the use of flint in their buildings. In our ward, you don't have to travel very far or look very hard before you find the use of flint. Flint's been used in Norfolk for over 1,000 years. I do hope that we don't see many more challenges around the sensible use of flint in some new developments. I'm pleased to see that I think there's ample scope to use it within this document, and I'm absolutely delighted to see that it certainly meets the requirements of paragraph H13. It's durable, it's long-lasting, and it's easily maintained. So a vote from me for flint, and I hope we don't hear too much more about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak on this one? Did you want to come back on anything, Lisa? No. No. So the recommendations are at page 86 that we've heard from Lisa. So are we all happy to vote for both those? All those in favour? Anybody against? Any abstentions? No. Unanimous on that.
Carried.
And 17C, notice to commence plan making, and I'm afraid, Lisa, you're up again. The report is at page 507.
Yes, thank you very much. This item sets out how the Greater Norwich authorities of South Norfolk, Broadland and Norwich, working with Norfolk County Council and the Broads Authority, will formally commence preparation of the Greater Norwich Local Plan 2045. As you're all aware, we had just adopted our local plan when the new government came in, and they introduced a new standard method for calculating local housing need. This produced a considerably higher figure for Greater Norwich than the method used in our recently adopted local plan. Therefore, we have been told we had to produce another local plan. The paper explains in more details other changes that now need to be followed when making a plan. I'm not going to go through all of those, so don't worry about that, Chair. Appendix 1 has a timetable for the GNLP 2045. This can be found on page 516. So tonight, Council are being asked to agree to the two recommendations, which you'll find on page 515. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone want to speak on this? Councillor Brown.
Thank you very much, Chair. We've definitely got ghosts on it. I really welcome this paper. Before it went to Cabinet, it came to the Planning and Economic Growth Committee, and we had a really good, detailed and in-depth discussion with officers, with going through lots of questions about this. And it's really important that we get going with this update to the local plan. I think it's worth really bringing to attention. It took 7 years to get our local plan in place. There's a fixed 30-month timetable to do this new local plan. So it's really going to be tough to get that done, regardless of local government reorganisation, which is sitting in the background. But even regardless of that, this will be a really tough ask. And I just want us all to be very aware of that, so that we can all get the opportunity to make sure our communities can be involved in the consultations during this process, because it will be much quicker than previous local plans. But I really welcome it. We do need to deliver this extra housing, but we need to make sure it's in the right place, the right quality, the right type of housing, done in the right way, whether that be large developments or small.
I really would like to know how many houses across Norfolk. I know I've asked about North Norfolk.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to speak on this? No? All happy? So the recommendations from Cabinet are to approve commencement of the Greater Norwich Local Plan and delegate any updates. So if we could have a vote, all those in favour?
Carried again.
Against? Any abstentions? No, that's unanimous. Thank you. Now 17D is the adoption of street naming legislation and update to street naming and numbering policy. The report is attached at page 517. Back to Lisa.
Thank you. This is something I don't think many people probably know, that District Council also deal with street naming and numberings. So we have to have a policy for it, which we have had. There's been updated, the legislation has been updated, and therefore we needed to make some revisions to the policy, so that we'd be working in line with the
This is Councillor Neil again from Poyngham and Framingham and Trout.
So it was the Levelling Up and Regeneration Act that amended the statutory framework governing
I do wonder
particularly in relation to the
if John
alteration
Overton
of
is her
street
husband,
names.
because he's also
This is therefore
Poyngham,
timely to ensure
Framingham
that council's
and
powers,
Trouse.
procedures and policy
Conservative.
remain fully aligned with current law. The report details what minor changes
It looks
we
like there's a
need to
husband
make
and wife on this
and includes an updated street naming and numbering policy
this
which will
council.
ensure we continue to meet legal
I personally don't like seeing it,
whilst
but
continuing to support residents and stakeholders when street naming or renaming is considered.
I guess
So
with
there
their
are
anti-fraud,
two recommendations, which is asking council to confirm
just
that
protect it a bit.
they're happy that we will continue to use existing legislation and to agree the adoption of the new legislation and the revised policy, which will enable the authority to continue exercising the street naming and numbering functions effectively and lawfully. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thanks. Would anyone like to speak on this item? No, I think it's fairly self-explanatory. So no one has anything to say about street naming. Coke, we go to a vote, please. All those in favour?
I vote.
Anybody against? Any abstentions?
So that got carried.
Unanimous. Thank you. On to 17E, proposal for CNC Building Control to manage and administer the building safety levy. Lisa?
Page 540.
Okay, this one, there's a new building safety levy
And
which comes into
sounds like
force
it's Lisa
in
Overton
October
Neil
this year, under the Building Safety Act.
again.
And this paper details how South Norfolk Council
I'll just
will
double check
manage
there's not nothing Neil.
this levy. Councils are legally responsible for collecting the levy. This report proposes that this function is carried out by CNC Building Control on our behalf, as well as acting on behalf of all 5 partner authorities that we already provide building control service for. Given the complexity of the levy and the need for consistency across partner authorities, CNC is well placed to manage the calculations, collection and reporting. So this report also asks that the government's new burdens funding, which each of the partner authorities and ourselves will receive, is transferred to CNC from all the partner councils so that we can use that to put in the necessary systems and maybe employ a staff member on a fixed 2-year contract who would be the business support levy administrator. So once again, there's 2 recommendations at the end of the report for council to hopefully agree to, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments on this item? No, we're all happy with that. So the recommendations are that CNC Building Control manage and administer the building safety levy on our behalf, and new burdens grant be transferred to them. So all those in favour? And anybody against? And any abstentions? No, that's unanimous. You're doing well. 17F, Housing Standards Enforcement Policy, which is at page 554 of your agenda. This time we are going to Councillor Minshall.
Thank you, Chair. Council are asked to adopt the 2 new policies, the Housing Standards Enforcement Policy and the Civil Penalties
Okay,
Policy.
Graham Minshall,
These
Croydon,
policies
Conservative.
replace the existing enforcement policy for housing standards, reflecting the need to update the policy as a result of the general changes made by the Renters' Rights Acts of 2025, which means that from the 1st of May 2026, the housing enforcement landscape has fundamentally changed from one where enforcement is used only in the more serious cases and where generally engagement has failed. We now have a number of legal duties on us to take enforcement action and more ability to introduce civil penalties. That income will continue to be retained by the council and can be used to offset costs for more enforcement. There is a need to ensure that there is a consistency approach to enforcement across local authorities, and therefore working with Justice for Tenants and the Association of Chief Environmental Health Officers, they've developed a standard enforcement and civil penalty.
See, one of the issues, sorry, I'm just going to butt in here, about cameras being in these meetings. I like council because you can see, I mean, out of all of them, they seem to be the best ones because you can see the bench or top table and you can see the councillors. You cannot see any of their computer screens at all. Not that you can probably focus in on what is written on their computer screens, but I mean, data protection and everything else. Do you know what I mean? It just makes more sense to have one camera looking at the top table and another camera looking back at the councillors. And that's the same as Norwich City Council. That's the same as this council. I'm just really disappointed with the camera work. I really am. I'd like to see who's speaking for a start.
Minor additions to reflect those additions in enforcement areas
Okay,
for the housing
finished.
standard team to undertake. One of those is caravan licensing. So council is asked to adopt the housing standards enforcement policy as effective from 1st of May 2026, adopt the housing standards civil penalty policies as effective from the 1st of May 2026, and to delegate authority to the Assistant Director for Individuals and Families in consultation with the portfolio holder for houses and communities.
And this is from page 554.
On an ongoing basis to reflect changes in the legislation. Or
Like I say, if you click on the link in live chat, you can find all of that.
Thank you. Anybody wanting to comment on this item? No? Okay, so we've heard the recommendations. Can we have a vote? All those in favour, please. Thank you. Anybody against?
Looks like that's carried again, doesn't it?
Abstentions? No, that's unanimous. Thank you. So moving on to 17G, it's the LAF round 4 and temporary accommodation purchases. And back to Graham, please.
Thanks, Chair. As Council will know, we've been extremely successful with our temporary accommodation, being one of the few councils in the country that
the name
that is not spending large amounts of its budget on putting people into bed and breakfast accommodation. This is the fourth round of the Local Authority Housing Fund. As you know, we've been extremely successful in the past with the previous rounds. What we're doing today is we're asking to accept the
is this Councillor
government funding
again?
Via the Local Authority Housing Fund round 4, and to approve the required matched capital expenditure.
I missed the name.
Funding provided will enable the council to purchase a reduced cost, reflecting the grant funding 2 additional 2-bedroom properties, which will add to our own temporary accommodation. The local fund, as we say, has been successfully used in previous rounds and has contributed, and we need to contribute and expend it for further. So the council is asked to accept the funding allocation of 594,000 capital and 5,165 in revenue to participate in the next round, which is a 282,000 towards the purchase of 2 further family accommodation properties, which will require match funding by the council, and B, the 312,000 for the purchase of 2 resettlement properties, which will be transferred to a registered provider for a delivery. 2, to agree the provision of capital match funding of 322,998,000 to fund the purchase of the properties provided by drawing on general reserves. And then 3, to allocate a capital budget of 604,998 for South Norfolk Council to purchase additional temporary accommodation for the financial year 2026-2027. And this figure includes the Local Authority Housing Fund allocation of 282,000. Thank you, Chair.
Hi, Jim. You subscribe?
Thank you. Would anybody like to speak?
Thanks for joining.
Brown.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, just like to welcome this paper. As I've said before, it's great that this council is receiving this funding to increase options for temporary accommodation and the stock that we are able to provide. And this further increment is very welcome. It's clear that the pressure on temporary accommodation is continuing to increase, and the expectation is that it will continue to increase. So I'm sure there'll be further papers in the future where we'll be needing to go even further than this, but very much welcome this, and also welcome the mention of the homeless mitigation strategy and funding.
I think that's Councillor
that's a really important
Elmer
part of this whole process,
talking.
to make sure that we're doing everything we can to avoid people losing their properties, becoming homeless.
Cringleford and Conservative leader of the council.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak on this item? No? Okay, you've heard the recommendations, so we will go to a vote. All those in favour, please. Thank you.
So that's carried.
Anybody against? Any abstentions? No, that's unanimous then. Perfect. So item 18 is questions to chairman and portfolio holders. Just to remind people, these are questions, not observations, and they're not to officers, it's purely for chairman and portfolio holders. So who would like to kick off? Anybody have a question? Oh, you thought you were going to get away with it. I'll go to Councillor Webber.
Thank you very much. I'm conscious we're starting a new council year, and I look forward to seeing the meetings that are going to be arising for members of this council. And in particular, I note that it's now over 3 months since we had the last of the quarterly shareholder board meetings. I wonder if the leader could update me on when he expects the next meeting of the shareholder board to be. And I wonder if he could also let me know when he expects the minutes and some of the papers for the last shareholder board to be available to members in accordance with the discussion we had at our last meeting.
The short answer is no, but I am happy to pass the question on to the monitoring officer, or if not, we'll get you back a written response on that.
Sorry, Chair, I don't have a date for the next meeting, but I'm happy to take that away and send a written response.
Thank you. And Councillor Brown.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I have 2 questions for the Cabinet Member for the Environment, Councillor Hoodin. The first one is, although it's predominantly a county issue, is the closure of the Morningthorpe Recycling Centre in October that's scheduled to take place. Particularly for residents in my ward, the suggested alternative is Norwich South Recycling Centre, which means a round trip of about 30 miles. And many parishes in my area are concerned by this closure and the seeming
Finish my drink.
inability for the county to find an alternative site or to propose appropriate alternatives for residents. And so I'd like to understand what dialogue it's had with the county in terms of providing residents with a suitable alternative. And then finally, secondly, if you can give us an update on food waste collection.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. In relation to the Morningthorpe Recycling Centre, it was due to close last October, but following some negotiation between the council and the landowner, it was extended till October this year.
Landowner?
The person who owns the land, because the council do have an agreement with them to rent it, the owner is one of the people that has signed up to be part of the East Pye solar farm, and wants the piece of land back, and has served notice on the county council that they will be.
What's his land back?
So they've got until October basically this year. From my inquiries so far, an alternative site hasn't been found, but they are looking in and around Long Stratton, and obviously this side of the border, because if people need to go to Suffolk, they have to pay. But there is no easy solution, and
Long
no
Stratton.
immediate solution on the horizon that I'm aware of.
Long Stratton.
In relation
with the new,
to
how many millions was that road?
we now have some launch dates for, and I can send this round on an email.
A manoeuvre between the basins.
We do now have launch dates for the delivery of the caddies. We've employed a private company to deliver all of those, with communication leaflets within the next few weeks. And the first tranche of households, I think we've now, because we had a delay in the vehicle delivery.
Who's talking?
We've had to delay. It was going to be a four tranches. It's now 3. So we're kicking off with 28,000 homes, yet to be determined where they are, in the first tranche in July the 27th, and the second tranche of about 48,000 homes, I think, later on in the year, September time. But I will put the dates around. I have got the dates when they're going.
That is a lot of houses.
On whether Turberg deliver our food waste lorries, and myself and 3 other members of the council are going there on the 18th and 19th of June to hopefully see those vehicles roll off the production line. If that all goes as planned, the start date of July 27th will then be confirmed. But we're going to take the step of communicating and delivering the caddies before we're certain of that delivery date. So we're going to hedge our bets, basically.
Don't know.
Thank you. We can't wait. Sorry, I spotted Councillor Mason-Billig first, and then I will come to the others.
Oh,
yes,
hey.
it's just on the matter of the recycling centres. I have county asked for a report from the director of highways under which recycling comes, because it's
Right.
never our intention, or was my intention in the administration, to shut any recycling centres. We appreciate that they are,
This is Kay from Loddon and Chetcleve, Conservative.
to see, and we did have long negotiations with the landowner. But if you'll think about the site at Morningthorpe, it was quite an awkward place because it's on quite a fast piece of road. Introducing the system where you book your slot has helped to reduce the people queuing onto the road, which was causing quite a major hazard on the highway. But we are looking for alternatives. Hopefully it's only a temporary issue.
Thank you for that clarification. And Councillor Wateridge.
Sorry. Yeah, my question is also to Councillor Hooton, popular person tonight. It's regarding the national emergency briefing, which was presented to 1,200 sort of politicians and key decision makers last November, but was hushed up by the government.
Oh, yeah.
At the time, there's since been a series of screenings which have started to be shown across the country, which is great. I just think perhaps we could do more as a council to talk to other councillors and staff members about this hugely important briefing. I know that my Green Party colleague, Councillor Eleanor Lamming, brought this up in full council in Broadland District Council a couple of months ago. And basically she asked that the details of the national emergency briefing be circulated to all Broadland councillors and staff members. And indeed that has now been done. So on the 30th of April, I know that Annie Samazi did circulate those details, and I was hoping that the same could be done for all members of staff and councillors here in South Norfolk.
Thank you. I am aware of the screenings, but I'm not aware of any work being done within this council to promote that at all. So I would come back to you on maybe speak to my counterpart on Broadland District Council and see what they're actually doing. I'll need to come back to you on that.
Thank you. It was less about promoting the screenings, promoting the actual subject of the screenings and links to all the information on their website.
Thank you. Councillor Hudson, please.
I'm going to find out a little bit more about that.
Question to the leader. Given the statements from basically the reform-led counties to launch our LGR legal challenge, and given our own position at the South Norfolk Council of basically all but one of us voting for the two unitary solution, I wondered what this council is going to do and what its position is going to be with regard to whether we're going to challenge what the government's trying to oppose on Norfolk.
Thank you very much. I guess the first part of that, the answer to that question is what reform do or do not do at county has absolutely no bearing on what I do or do not do. So we'll say that clearly at the start. Separate to that, I think I've made my position on the proposal that's been adopted by the government.
For God's sake,
I
answer
think
it.
it's a poor outcome for Norfolk and a terrible outcome for South Norfolk. I won't rehearse in too much detail why. Suffice to say, I think the areas on the borders of Norwich will see themselves used as a cash cow to fund Norwich's debt, and their green spaces used to fill in the city's development targets. And then I think the sacrifice of that is those areas to the south have been put into a council that the financial sustainability of which I question, and where there are no synergies for South Norfolk's communities with those coastal communities. Shortly after the decision was made, we wrote to the Secretary of State to ask for details and the rationale that sits behind his decision making. As of today, no response to that has been received. Although the Secretary of State has chosen to reinterpret the original request as a freedom of information request, which elevates the amount of time compared to what we originally requested. Truthfully, I do not expect to receive a full and frank answer to my question. As it stands today, it is my intent to issue a pre-action protocol letter against the government, or to the government.
We've got another 15 minutes.
Bring a paper to cabinet in due course, setting out options going forward.
Can I go to Kay Mason-Billig, please?
Yes, point of clarification. Despite what Reform may or may not say, they have not got a majority at Norfolk County Council, and the handover of the administration will not happen until the AGM. I'm still leader at the present until that time.
You were okay.
The Conservative administration at Norfolk County Council,
But we now have
took government
reform.
on the 26th of March when the announcement first came out on the 3 unitary option. And we have been pursuing legal counsel. We have a KC in tow to find out what our legal options are, and the pre-action letter was sent to the Secretary of State last Friday from my administration, not from Reform. So I think they're a little bit behind the curve on this one.
Thank you. Can I just go back to Councillor Hooton? I think, did you want to add something on the food waste?
I did. Could I just go back to Councillor Brown? Because I've managed to look at my calendar now. So the food waste caddy deliveries start on Monday the 6th of July, together with
Conservative.
all the comms that will go with it, telling people what it entails, how it's going to work, etc., etc. And the first phase will commence on the 27th of July, as I've already said. That's now been confirmed, 28,000 properties. The third phase, or what was the third phase, or will be the second now, starts on Monday the 28th of September to 41,000 properties. And the third and final phase starts on the 31st of October. And I think that's one of the important ones, because it's been raised by this council before in relation to what we're going to do with those difficult premises, HMOs, blocks of flats and the like. And as council will probably remember, we have employed 3 extra members of staff now who are going to assist with that piece of work. And those premises that do present that slightly more difficult challenge will be visited separately, and a method of food waste sort of recycling will be discussed with each of those premises. We don't know how many there are yet, but that's the plan. So there's some dates now about around the information I actually gave you. But I will also send it out, all those dates out to all members. So it might be useful for parish council meetings, etc. Yeah, I'll do that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor McConnell, and then we'll come to...
Sorry, I wanted to get back to Councillor Elmer. I just wondered, do you not at this stage, with the government decisions and everything with LGR, do you not have concerns about the financial implications if you're going to continue to fight?
As I said, the cabinet paper will set out a much fuller range of implications. I don't want to prejudge what may or may not be in it, but obviously you're very welcome to attend the cabinet and see the paper itself in due course.
Thank you. It was Councillor Blundell next, and then I'll come to Councillor Fuller.
Thank you, Chairman, and congratulations on your post. This one is for Graham Mitchell. I'm hoping you're still
To find out when that cabinet
This year actually looks at 110 years since the Battle of the Somme, and that is a massive deal, and a lot of people seem to be forgetting our history of our servicemen and everything else. Is this council going to be kind of prioritising anything to actually remind people of what happened in years gone by, especially with remembrance and to think about, obviously, more specifically, this milestone in our history?
Thank you. As you know, I am the Armed Forces Champion for South Norfolk, a role that I cherish and take quite seriously. Absolutely, I will be working with the comms team, and we will make sure that there is
Graham Mitchell, it's Royd and Conservative.
Thank you. Councillor Fuller.
Well, just going to ask the leader, pursuant to the penultimate question that was asked, are you concerned about the finances, not just for this council, but for our parishes, of not fighting this irrational discussion, especially as we are largely parished, whereas Norwich isn't? And if they're not parished, how are parish type expenses to be
This
financed.
is the
from a
Lord
unitary
Fuller,
that doesn't have any parishes, just
OBE,
for example.
Brooke
So have you
Conservative.
considered some of the costs if this does go ahead? Not least also the pension strain costs, which are considerable for those valued members of staff
We have
who
a
may
Lord
consider
as a
that having
councillor.
attained the age of 55, they may wish to take early retirement, having done 20 or 30
Brooke.
years service, and can retire on substantially full pensions with the strain cost borne by the local taxpayer.
The member set it out so eloquently, I bet I scarcely need to repeat it and say yes. However, I would add, obviously the issue with the parish point is not just an issue of the finances, it's also an issue of differential representation and whether or not on these new authorities, the areas of South Norfolk are going to have sufficient representation for their areas in these new authorities when weighed up against the coastal communities in the east and the urban core in Greater Norwich. And obviously I scarcely dare to mention Hingham and Wicklewood and how much attention is going to be paid to them by King's Lynn.
Thank you. Any further questions? Yes, Councillor Morland.
Yeah, for more than 10 years now.
John Morland, Heatherset, Labour and Cooperative Party.
New health centre, doctor's surgery. Have you got any idea when we're going to get it?
I assume that was a question to the leader.
Yeah.
So.
That was
Give me
you.
a second, just while I check what I can say.
About a doctor's
Okay,
surgery.
so the land transfer for the surgery has happened. We're approaching REBA stage 4, which is cost certainty. We should be there in the next few months. Effectively, what we are waiting on at the second will be the final sign-off from the ICB. I would be hopeful of work starting in the coming months.
Excellent. Any further questions? No. Brilliant. So, any questions now for Scrutiny Committee Chairman? Anything for Councillor Rowe? No? Any questions for the Licensing Committee Chairman? Councillor Easter? No? Got away with it as well? Any questions for Development Management Committee? That's Councillor Thompson. Anyone got a question for you, or are you questioning yourself?
I was just hoping to make a comment, actually, Chair, if possible.
Go ahead.
But I'll wait if they want. A thank you to last year's committee. There are lots of changes have gone on, and Lisa mentioned two of them. One where we were cheering and expecting a 5-year land supply after the last local plan, to have that put back in our preview again, and the SPD. Going forward, welcome to the new committee. There are some things drip feeding from government at the moment. The first one will be quite interesting. There is a national call-in procedure about to come to us. And it is fair to say that we've been lenient at times, particularly around elections, of having call-ins. But that will stop now. This will be a national guideline on those. We look forward to that. The number of members on a committee, not that affects us very much. The government's figures about 9 to 11, well, we're in that range. But I can tell you, having been on courses, there are some committees that are twice that. So they will have to do something about that. The training regime that we have, I think, is very good, but we'll have to speed up on that as well. The other one that's just coming in is quite interesting. If there's 150 plus developments now, and we are minded to refuse it, that has to go straight to the government and their advisor, not an independent inspector, but to their advisor to decide on those 150 houses, which will be quite good. And a slight change to biodiversity net gain.
The government, they don't even live in Norfolk.
Because it was up to 25 square metres, which is not very large. And and people are being caught in that. That's now gone to the massive amount of 0.2 of a hectare. So not a great amount still, but better than it was. And overall, I expect to see more delegated next year on that basis. And then we move into the fantasy land of what will the planning committees look like under the new unitary. I'm intrigued by that and slightly worried. So welcome to the new members. We've got a lot to do, a lot to learn. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Does anyone have a question for Councillor Thompson on anything he's just raised? No. Thank you. So item 19 is feedback from outside bodies, and I'm sure you've all read my report from the Norfolk Records Committee on the impact of LGR on the archive service. So that one is some good bedtime reading for you. And anybody else give any feedback? Lord Fuller, did you have an update from Big Sky?
Only that I think, and it's only just come through in the last few moments, in answer to Councillor Webber's conversation earlier, I believe the date for the next shareholder is on the 5th of June, I think it is. So yeah, the next shareholder meeting's there. We've had the first one. I think it's going to be quite interesting.
Lord Fuller.
I think it was valuable. It wasn't a decision making. Of course, decisions are delegated to the company itself.
Go figure.
But I do think the next time we meet, which has only been a few weeks' time, will be to discuss whether we actually convert some of the loans that are out to Big Sky and switch them into owning the properties. So it's a debt for equity. It is. We all want to de-risk the situation there. Not saying it's risky, but de-risking is appropriate in the current situation. There has been a material change of circumstance in that the roadworks on the A47 have reduced the marketability for sale for some of those homes, but there's still an insatiable demand for rent, and it may well be sensible just to convert some of the houses for sale into homes owned by the council in consideration of cancelling some of the outside debt. And furthermore, there's a block of flats built as part of the development, and it might be sensible to acquire those. Who knows? This is all to be discussed in due course. There's some proposals coming forward, and that's what we'll discuss next time we meet as the shareholder board.
Thank you very much. There's no further feedback from outside bodies. You have one? Yes, Councillor Hood.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, I haven't done a paper. I hold this council's only seat on the Broads Authority, and I think it's important that the council recognise that last Friday, after 25 years of service, the Chief Executive Officer of the Broads Authority, John Packman, retired, and the new post holder is a woman by the name of Sarah Cowley. She previously served as Deputy Head of Mission in Madrid, and she takes over from John on the Broads Authority at a key time. As we all know, the Broads are under threat. Sarah was born and raised in Norfolk, so she's got a connection with the county already, and I think it's incumbent on this council to welcome her to her new role, and we offer our support in any way that we can with the forthcoming challenges that the Broads and the Broads Authority itself face. Thank you, Chair.
I think this is getting wrapped up now.
McLennan, have you got something to add to on
This is not a
outside?
question, but I think it would be fitting to thank the council staff who delivered on election day such an outstanding performance, a well-run election, which I think was a credit to the council, although the results can be disappointing.
Not a very good microphone at all. I'm not even sure who's speaking.
I will echo that.
Anyone hear that question? Anyone?
Even if I think myself, Councillor Sachs and Councillor Spratt were somewhat frustrated at the amount of time it took to declare for home.
Thank you. It took a lot longer to declare Hethersett. So I think we have come to the end of my first meeting in the chair. So thank you all for all your brilliant
Oh, you've
questions.
done well.
And I can declare this meeting is closed at 8:30.
Oh, not even time to see the end. Okay. Actually, that wasn't a bad meeting. They certainly cracked on with it. There's just one thing I do want to touch upon. Is this page. When I was looking for the agenda, I must have clicked on about 10 different things just to get to the agenda. But this little thing came up, and allowance and expenses. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this. I'm going to share this link, and I think it might be a good idea for whoever, whenever, wants to just have a click on it, have a look through. Because I do generally with people's expenses, but that is a very good link, because you have to search for that when you are on other council pages. Let's see if I can just take you with me. Oh, look, and they're backdated, even better. I like this. So yeah, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're just going to pop that one in as well. It might be the same. Oh, don't know what that was. That might be the same link, but yeah, there you go. Click on there, have a good look around, see what you can see and how much their expenses are. I will probably be doing that over the next few days. But yeah, if you see anything, just pop it in the comments below. And yeah, see what they're getting up to. But in the meantime, I want to call that a day, because it's now night. It's now 9:20. So thanks for watching. And yeah, keep an eye out for the next live, because I'm not quite sure what council meetings are coming up. I'm trying to keep up to date with all of them from now on in, especially with the devolution and everything coming. The LG, them 3 letters always go amiss with me. But anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, let's see when the next meeting is. Till then, cheerio.